Alright, let's get into this. You'll have to excuse my yard. It is fall after all. Oh, and FYI, I rent this house, but we'll save buying versus renting for another video. And here she is. My 2005 Pontiac Sunfire with 76,000 clicks. Bought and paid for. The bank doesn't own that sucker. I do. So, it's the only way to go. And the great thing about that I forgot to mention earlier is that I only paid $4,000 for that car in 2015. I bought it in June and I've had it ever since. And aside from spending $250 for a new fuel pump, which I set aside money for in the first place, I've had no issues with it. So that's not too bad. Also, the insurance for this car is extremely good. I only pay $312 every 3 months. So it's not too bad at all. But on my screen, I'll show you why exactly I have chosen. I mean, this is a personal choice at the end of the day, how you want to live your life. And I am by no means bringing down anybody who chooses to purchase a more extravagant vehicle for themselves. You know, to each their own. Everybody has their own priorities. But just looking at the screen right now, this is the maintenance cost for each type of vehicle throughout its lifetime. The average amount spent on maintenance. So at the bottom, this goes from 1 to 30. 30 is Toyota, and the average maintenance, proper maintenance, assuming you have a good mechanic, of course, is $5,500. I believe this is over a 10-year period, but do not quote me on that. And as you can see, you know, there's some nice brands in here. Like, I would love to have a Volkswagen or a Mitsubishi, but going up towards, of course, my Pontiac is number 8. Okay, so what have we learned, people? Don't buy a Pontiac, buy a Volkswagen. But at the top, the BMW at 17.8. Just for an example on the price difference for, say, even my Sunfire, is when you compare this to a BMW, a new windshield for a BMW can be around $500. A new windshield for my Pontiac is a little over 2. And of course, this is through, you know, your insurance agencies and deductibles and things like that. So it will vary, but it just goes to show you, even though those two items are identical, one will always cost you more than the other, depending on the brand that you buy. Um, and if you feel like buying something more high end, like an Audi or whatever, once again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but definitely consider buying used, you know, at least 2 years old, because once you roll off that parking lot at the dealership, your value immediately decreases by at least 20%. And I used to work at a car dealership as a kid. I was a wash monkey, and I saw people just it was crazy. I my emotions on this are fairly negative towards buying new cars. But let's look once again. I'll pull up another window here. I have the car depreciation calculator. So let's take a look, and we'll go dollars. Car purchase price. The average new car, assuming we're gonna buy a new car, is 45. Vehicle age 0. Years you will own the car. Let's go 10. Actually, 7. We'll go low for sake of argument and calculate. And right here is your value over time. So over a 7-year period, that car is going to go extremely down in value. So it just seems more economical to buy a used car that's been well maintained, preferably by an older couple. And Bob's your uncle, you're laughing all the way to the bank. Now, I do this for myself because I prefer to do things like travel every year. And, I'm a lover of a nice whiskey once in a while. So if this is something that you might want to do is travel more, or indulge a little bit more in dining out once in a while, this is definitely something to consider, because the reality in life is vehicles are just money pits, and as inflation rises, we are only going to be paying more and more for our vehicles. So that's just my take. Take it with a grain of salt, but I'll link the websites in the description, and let me know what you think. I'm always open to your feedback. Peace.